A very good morning to the judges and everyone here. I'm William from Team M3W, together with Xiang Li, Matthew, and Wikiat, who cannot be here today. And today we are going to present to you group notes, seriously fun. So, meet Henry. So Henry actually has appeared last year, and this is second year in NUS. So for those of you who don't know him, don't be afraid. He's not biting anyone. So. Yeah, this year is going to be a second year student, and after the first year in NUS, he realized that actually there are more things that can be done to enhance student experience in NUS, and the key of this is efficiency. So, yep, during his year one, Henry was having this problem that he's unable to take notes fast enough while the lecturer is talking. So he tends to miss out some points. And then because of this, he needs to copy the notes from the friend after the class, which tends to be annoying sometimes because he can spend the time more on hanging out with girls or maybe do some sports. Then after that, I believe that project meetings is an important part of student life, especially NUS students. And then Henry noticed that during his first year, these project meetings, everyone keep giving ideas and no one keep track of the ideas and no one organize the ideas. Then, in the end, the ideas become very scattered, and the discussion goes nowhere. And then because of that, the team lose out some brilliant ideas and also obviously time. Then, when the weather was unfriendly, Henry tended to fall sick very easily because he's so skinny. So he tended to miss out some lectures as well. And then he felt bad every time he asked his friend to copy the notes for him, or maybe borrow the notes to be copied. And then it's inefficient too for him because he, as stated before, he can use the time for something else. So after all these investigations with Henry, our team decided to have Henry, and voila, group notes was created. So what group notes? Group notes is a collaborative, interactive, and personalized application which will enhance your university experience. What group notes can do is that you can broadcast, you can download your notes from IVLE, or maybe you can download your notes from computer, and you can broadcast it to the same network. Then you can share it to your friend, and you can collaborate on the same notes. Then you can see who's collaborating. Okay, each collaborator will have their own layer on the application. So you can see who's collaborating by looking at the layers. So every time there's another collaborator comes in, then there will be a layer added. Then this is the cool thing. We use fast syncing technology which allows real-time update. So every time your friend annotates something on the note, it will appear on your iPad too. And this is the part where the collaboration will be brought to the next level. And then it's also interactive, whereby you can use it for a lot of things. You can use it for project meeting, brainstorming, as what Henry said before. And you can also play some old school games during the break, like let's say tic-tac-toe, or maybe this game. And you can use it for virtually anything as far as you can imagine. Yep, and it's also personalized. You can choose one color out of 8 pretty pen colors here, and you can use eraser. And actually you can choose the thickness of the line of the paper, or the pen also, so you can emphasize which part is more important in the annotation. And then the next thing is that we can actually set the transparency of the layer, as you can see here. As you lower down the transparency, it will be gone. But as you increase the transparency, it will be opaque. And then we can also adjust, you can also arrange the layers. So actually you can prioritize your notes, your annotation. So if let's say you want your friend annotation to be on top of your annotation, you can bring it up. And if, let's say, there's this annoying guy who keep writing, scribbling unclear things, then you can just bring it down and bring the transparency to 0. So it's very personalized in a way, so that you can use it very conveniently. Okay, now is the long waiting time, is the demo.
All right. So I'll take you judges through the demo. Right, so on the right screen, you can see my iPad. And first thing I want to show you is actually how you can actually insert new documents into group notes. So on the right, we have an add button, and you can see you can actually take documents from 3 different sources. You can actually connect your iPad to iTunes and bring in your documents. You can use IVLE Workbin, or we can use Dropbox, which is not in this present version, but we're looking to include it in future updates. Right, so to give an example, so I can include a document like this, tap on it to open, right, and from here I can actually zoom in to see in more detail or zoom out.
Oh, must pass the mic over, is it?
Hello, okay. Right, you can swipe between pages, right? And if you want to see all your pages at once, you can pinch in and really see all your pages at once. You can tap to go to a new page. Right, so right now we will demonstrate our collaborative syncing feature, right? So I'm going to add a new document for my workbin, so you can see how it's done. So right now it's connecting to IVLE, right? And I will choose to download a document. So for example, this one, right? I'll open it up, and I'll click on sharing over here on the top left and turn on broadcast. So on the iPads, all right, you have to actually, okay, I've received many requests at once to share my document. All right, and now we're good to go. So when I pull down, I can see my drawing tools, and I can select, whoops. Let me try that one more time.
Hang on. Let him sync again.
Okay, let's try that again, yeah.
Okay, so we can...
So this means that they must all be using the same Wi-Fi.
Yeah, sync network.
Same node. So what happens in this case is lost connection, but the document is already copied to mine. Segmented?
Yeah, that's right. So it's actually, I already copied the document.
Okay. So any changes I might have done in the meantime are not lost because I walked out of the room. Or
Yeah, that's right. So the changes are actually stored on your device. Okay.
This is using module, is it?
Yeah, that's right.
Do we share again?
Yeah. Sorry, some technical issues.
It's okay.
Let's try one at a time, maybe.
Okay, one at a time.
Okay, one at a time.
I'll go first. Okay, we can try again.
Okay.
Okay. Then...
Oh. Sorry.
All right, so if we were to draw now, you can see it appear on your iPads, hopefully. Right. So so right now you are actually at liberty to also draw on your iPads and see it appear on the screen as well.
Yeah. On this side.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
put down.
Right, so we can see some doodles appearing now. And at any time, if you need to know what gestures to use, you can actually check the info button to see a list of gestures that you can actually use on the device to navigate and manage your document. All right, and if I click the layers now, we can see the different devices connected, and I can actually adjust the transparency to hide or reveal, and also reorder my layers.
So the transparency layers are over here. So we can actually move things up and down. Let's say if you don't have net views, so you can just like switch it on.
Right, and that's it for group notes. Thank you.
How do you preserve that? That is, if let's say after I'm done with this, can I save all the annotations, whatever, to a PDF file?
So right now it's all on the device. We're exploring actually future options for
Right.
exporting to PDF, emailing to your friends, or even emailing the exact group notes document so that they can load it onto their own group notes and then continue editing from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at this moment, the annotations are all saved locally. on the
That's
device.
right.
Okay.
So maybe we can take any questions.
So,
Oh, one second.
So yep, like as questioned before, we're actually looking at the future improvement, but due to time constraint, we don't add these features inside yet. So in the future, it might be able to export documents like what question just now, like we can export to PDF, JPEG, or maybe even group notes file type, so that it can be continued. Then we can have a copy and paste function, So it's like, let's say there's this annotation and you want to sort it accordingly, you can just select it and copy and paste it. And then you can also type text and insert photos, then track last change on each layer so you can actually see what your friend are doing. And then you can split PDF handouts into different pages. Like you can insert pages, you can take out one page only because this is the most important ones. And we might also expand to other devices such as iPhone. So yeah, with that said, we are open to question. Thank you.
So currently it's only on iPad.
That's right.
Okay.
So let's say I make some changes when I'm back home, and then when I come back to my class and my friends are all around, can I synchronize the changes back to the other devices?
So what we're planning is when you bring it back to your
Right.
friends' devices,
Right.
and connects for the first time after you've made the change,
Right.
it's going to sync the changes over.
Okay. Okay. So you're able to save locally if you are not on the same network, but then when you have joined
That's
the
right.
network, you're able to
So,
synchronize the changes.
Every time you connect to the device, it checks if is that layer the most updated version, and if it's not, it's going to update.
Okay. Okay.
Is it an automatic update?
Yeah, that's right. So it's seamless. You don't have to do anything on the user's end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you guys give us an overview of sort of your competition and the major differences between other sort of document collaboration systems?
But as far as I know, we don't have this kind. As far as I know, okay, besides Google Docs, obviously,
Yeah.
we haven't heard of any collaborative spaces with this kind. So, but then like Google Docs is actually very limited because you can only type. But like, this one is like really real time and like you can explore further compared to Google Docs. So it's kind of interactive as well. Like I said before, like you cannot play games on Google Docs, and so yeah, that's our competitive advantage.
I think it would be much cooler if you can actually collaborate over not just on the same network, but if, let's say, you got different students at home and they can actually do collaborative learning.
Yeah.
So I think that would be really cool. That is true. You have
Through
a
the
central
network.
server to synchronize all the changes. I think that would be much cooler as well. But
Yeah.
this is
Definitely an option that we
Right.
will consider.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think when you look at your competition around also, you have to consider a competition on a use case basis. So feature for feature, it might not match the collaborativeness, but for example, Evernote might be able to be used in a similar way. So that's something that you might look at as well.
So there's still no typing in feature yet, right?
No. So right now we don't support typing. It's one of the features that's good.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of wondering too, same thing. So just sort of drawing right now, right?
Yeah. Sorry.
Because one of the issues that you were trying to resolve was for students when they are not able to take down notes.
Yes.
And note taking is more or less text based, right? Okay.
But usually when you are in the class, you will just tend to write on the lecture notes. That's where the idea comes about.
Also, you're gonna like scan the lecture notes.
They download it from.
Yeah, because usually
I
lecturers actually issue the notes ahead of time, so you can actually download to your device.
Okay.
That was the whole idea behind.
Yeah, and most of the time they are PowerPoint slides with very bare minimal information. That's why through our experience as NUS students, we tend to often write on our notes in lectures on the paper. So in that sense, we are trying to
Emulate the same kind
Emulate
of
the same
concept.
kind of thing,
Yeah.
Okay.
So at this moment, how many people can actually collaborate at the same time based on whatever you've done so far? How many people can actually simultaneously connect? Is there a limitation?
We haven't done very much current testing, but from our testing
available iPads.
and a number of iPads. So I think anywhere from about under 5, it works quite well in our testing. We haven't had the chance to test with more than 5 iPads
Okay.
due to hardware constraints as well. Yeah, so
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I think the typing thing for me, I mean, I think that's probably, I don't know. I think that'd be feature number 1. I see what you're saying where you can kind of annotate PowerPoint slides by drawing. But you mentioned a couple problem statements at the beginning, like organizing project meetings and sharing notes otherwise, I think is pretty key with having typing. But yeah, I think Google Docs, there's also, check out Microsoft's web apps with SkyDrive, because there's some collaboration features that are very similar. In some cases, they're a bit different. There's some additional robustness there, and there's pros and cons between Google Docs, but there's also some extensibility, you know, like for instance with Google Docs where there's add-ons and things that I think may have some annotation features. May want to dig further into that. I think the concept is cool. I agree with having it so that you can be, it's more internet-based and not local area network-based. But it's definitely interesting. Can't think of any other questions.
So if you can access Google Docs on iPad, why would someone use your application versus Google Docs?
It's new.
I think the difference here is that we are in Google Docs. Wait, let me think through this again. I think the difference here is that you can actually access the documents that you want directly instead of having to export to Google Docs itself. So in that sense, it's more real time, and plus taking an iPad into a lecture room is smaller and easier than a laptop. But I mean, yeah, you can access Google Docs here, but it's not exactly real time. If you have used Google Docs or like the Word document, there's a time lag between updates. So sometimes when you're typing and then you see suddenly my friend has typed a sentence. So in our case, it's as what you have experienced, it's real time and it's much faster. Yeah.
I think one of our common uses for Google Docs is we tend to actually type on a new document, and what we want to do here is really to actually annotate over our notes and have that seamless transition as well, not going through the Google's portal and having to open a web browser and stuff like that. So this is very seamless, very native. We try to make everything very simple to the user, to students basically.
Yeah, and actually I've received some feedback from my friends that when they are typing on iPad, when the keyboard pop out, it will only left half the space, half the monitor. That's why it's kind of not convenient to type on the tablet. So that's why this scribbling will be more convenient for them because they can scribble on the notes instead of typing. They have bigger screen space.
Will you be able to see history or a timeline of the changes?
At this moment, no.
That's
That's
one of our
the
considerations.
feature at this moment.
So one of our features is to actually track the last few changes, so you can see what your friend has updated.
Well, I mean, all things considered, Evernote just turned that on after all these years, right? So it's a tough thing. But so you guys have some users, or has this not really been sort of?
We haven't launched this, but we have done some field testing.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Is like, I know probably everybody's read the sort of lean startup and the whole idea behind testing hypotheses and stuff. There's some really major assumptions that you guys are making, and I think. Well, let me ask you this: How long have you been working on this?
For about 2-3 months.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, it's you've done a lot in that time, and so I mean, congratulations on that. I mean, I think what you've created is really interesting. I think just really think about what assumptions you're making. So there's some really big ones here, and write those down, and then make sure that as you actually put this in the hands of users, that you're thinking about, are your assumptions being proven true or not? If yes, continue down the path and grow those out. If not, you need to change a little bit. Cool.
Yeah.
That's all, huh?
Good.
Thank you very much.